my neighbors are putting in a new seawall.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Podcast. Today is December 1st, everybody. Yes, 11 months of 2021 have come and gone. It is December 1st, and I have with me not only Becky Alley, not only Harvey Freed, but we have Michelle Sayward. Michelle, how have you been?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good. Becky, give Michelle the proper introduction, will you?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, she is Downriver's queen, one of the top producers, building her own empire with a plethora of agents, one of the top EXP spokespersons out there. She means everything that she says. She does everything that she means, and she's got a great heart. So if you don't know Michelle, you're going to get to know her. We're really happy to have her on the podcast with us. She's going to be joining us on the radio show this Saturday. Totally different. It's going to be in the vibe. It's going to be the first time you're in the studio with us, so I'm pumped about that. But without further ado, Miss Michelle Sayward, it's been too long. I miss your face, and I'm so happy to see you.
Well, thank you. That was a wonderful introduction. I'm excited to be here today. Thank you so much for having me. I am excited to be back in the studio with you guys again after God knows how long.
It's been way too long.
That's going to be great on Saturday. So make sure everyone tunes in Saturday, 97.1, The Ticket.
Yeah. You guys got to fire it up all over your Facebook page, tweet it out, do whatever you guys do, Instagram it out. I'll leave that up to you. And Becky, what a great introduction. I just want to tell everybody, Michelle was she was a very, very frequent guest on our radio show. I'm glad she's back in the studio. It's just not the same. I don't think I'm going to be there because we only allow 3 people in that studio. So it'll be you, Harvey, and Michelle in studio on Saturday. I'll join in on Zoom. However is Michelle, we're happy to have you back. We love you. Always full of great information. So I want to start off with you, Michelle. Just tell us how your business compares from 2020 to 2021.
Well, so this is such a double-edged sword question for me. If you're asking about me personally, I have sold less homes on purpose because I am in, scaling a team and sort of building an empire and realigning my goals in a different way right now. But overall, if you're asking about business on the whole for the agents in our group, I will say 2021 has been a record year by a landslide for many, many agents here at EXP and in my immediate group. Landslide of a year. Agents uptick in not only units sold, but in income. Why? Because the price points have gone up. But the good news is the market is quote unquote tougher. And these agents are still selling more homes, even though the market is tougher to navigate. So I will say this has definitely been an absolute record year. I'm just sort of like eyeballing, looking at some of the stats right now of what we have kind of going on. And these stats in the MLS are often misconstrued. So it's tough for us as brokers to really get a snapshot. But our sales volume is definitely up. Our average list price is up. And the inventory that we're carrying, surprisingly, is up. So
I want to get into 2022 with you a little bit, but in conversation, the national statistics for 2021 for October, nationally, the market was up 7.5%. The naysayers, the housing crash mongers, all the negative people have been wrong so far. Michelle, it's a math question to me. The math doesn't lie. The lack of inventory, more buyers will continue to drive home sales. It's going to drive sales up and the prices up. Where do you see that for 2022? And then I want to go to the panel. Where do you see that for 2022?
If you look at just the median sales price in residential homes, it's up almost 10% from this time last year. So our average sales price went from like $215,000 to just like $230,000, right around there, $229,900. Okay, whatever. And so if you're following that, I know you're saying, the market's been up for so long. It's been going straight up for 10 years. At some point, it's due to have a market correction. But quite honestly, I don't see that right now. I see absolutely no reason whatsoever for home prices to come down right now. If I'm thinking bigger picture, there's so much money in our economy right now and different forms of money in our economy right now. I mean, come on, we have NFTs, we have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, we're printing cash. Like there's so much money in our economy right now. People need a place to put it. And I could keep talking, but one of the things that just keeps being brought to mind for me and it's forefront for me right now is the price of even rent and how high rent has gone up right now. So everything is it's more expensive and I don't see a reason for it to slow down.
Yeah, Becky, it's a math equation. And for you, year over year, 2021 compared to 2020, you're going to hit a certain goal that we had for you. And, your purchase business is up over last year. It's just not a surprise because of how hard you work and where the market has been. So currently you're up year over year. December is looking very strong for you. In 2022, how do you feel about 2022? Are you in concert with Michelle, or could it even be better than what Michelle's thinking?
I think that, things will be as good as you hustle, right? So, your personal goals and what your agendas are. If you want home ownership to be a priority of yours, then obviously, we are the professionals, and Michelle, someone with her team, they're going to make those goals, come to life. So the difference for me from 2020 to 2021 is the purchase business. There's been a huge influx of purchase transactions over refinances. And that's because, a lot of people did take advantage of the refinances last year, even though the rates are still pretty comparable. I have seen personally a little bit of a lull in the refinance business, but it is true that testament of what we're seeing, that the purchase market overall has increased because the buyers that were maybe on the fence in 2020 that were getting mowed over, they now have come out in droves. You also have, your average home buyer coming in at, 33 years old. They're coming in at a higher price point than what they ever have before. So you're seeing that in those price points. And obviously Fannie Mae, FHA, all those are getting in line now with what a beautiful thing that in Michigan and the overall national average, you can go up to $647,000 on a conventional loan. What a beautiful thing. They just announced FHA, that national average is up. Let me pull it up real quick. I don't want to misspeak, but 420,680 on an FHA. That is over $100,000, almost over $100,000 increase from 2020. So what does that say? It is in line with what Michelle is saying. It is not going to slow down. It is not going to go backwards. And you need to figure out a way to make inflation your friend. If rent is going up to the point that you can no longer afford it, it is going to be cheaper for you to buy into your own home. You need to invest in your own future.
Yeah.
Yep. I was going to go to Harvey. Are you with us, Harvey? Because that was a great segue for you. It's a great segue for you, Harvey, because the real numbers are the numbers. We're up here over 9% of our purchase transactions over last year. It's been a phenomenal purchase year. And Becky brought it up. 2022, new loan limits, Harvey Freed. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac conventional loan amounts are official. We raised ours over a month ago to 625. We said it was going to be close to 650, and it actually came in at 647,200. And of course, Harvey Freed, FHA is 65% of that number, 426.80, and in high cost areas. And we have a high cost area around here too, don't we? High cost areas, 970,800 on an FHA loan. Harvey Freed, that's got to be music to your ears, because as Michelle directly mentioned, with home prices going up, her people got a raise, making more money. With loan limits going up, we got a raise, right, Harvey? So it's got to make you happy.
Yeah, I don't know how happy I am about everything like that, Harry, but
well, that's a personal issue. Let's talk about business, Harvey. Let's go.
Oh, business-wise. Well, I like what Michelle said about there's lots of sources of income out there, and people are working hard. The workers are the ones buying the houses. We meet these families, we meet these couples, we meet the individuals, and you just get a vibe when you meet somebody who's hardworking, whether they're working their tail off on the line for Chrysler or Ford. They're out there working. They work in side jobs. They're putting some extra money away. And then, as Michelle mentioned, there's some other avenues of money. Some of the younger generation invested in cryptocurrency and they have some wealth out there and they're able to make up the difference, Michelle, in the appreciation and the high cost of these homes due to the lack of inventory. So I think it's a workers type of mentality. The people that are working hard in life, that are honest and true to themselves, they're going to be able to afford a little increase because these low interest rates are keeping it affordable. So
yeah, Michelle. Yeah, Michelle, I would say that to you. And we've talked about it. Harvey and I have talked about it. We've talked about it as a team, Becky, John Kolb, Lisa, our whole crew here. The economy really is really good. People have a lot of money to spend. So anybody out there that says the economy isn't doing well, that's not true. People have a lot of money. And now with these loan limits going up, Michelle, are you kidding? You could buy a $450,000 house, FHA, or approximately get a $420,000 loan amount. You could buy you could buy almost a $700,000 house and get a $647,000 mortgage. I mean, just think about what that means in the last 5 to 6 years. I mean, think about that, Michelle.
That differential is crazy. I didn't know how high those loan limits are going to.
Yes.
It was what, 300, what'd you say last year? And now what for FHA? What was it?
FHA was 360.
525.
What'd you say?
It was 525 last year.
525. Okay. I'm sorry. But yeah, I had no idea the difference here that we're talking about. I mean, look, this is one of those things where people will complain, oh, I missed the boat. Home prices are way too high. There's no way I can afford it right now. But the reality is, look, if you're renting, your rent is going up too. Hands down, it's going up. There's no way around it. You're going to be far better served with the low interest rates to buy something now than to wait, quote unquote, for it to come down, because there's no reason on God's green earth that the prices should be coming down on real estate right now. My cousin, first time home buyer, is buying herself a little condo right now. And her purchase price is going to be $400 lower than she could find anywhere reasonable for rent.
Right.
And she's going to own for that. So, I mean, it's really putting things in perspective. I mean, personally, I just closed on a multifamily myself. Might think, oh, a little crazy, a real estate agent buying at these prices right now. But the reality is, hey, rents are going up too. So guess what? It's all going to work itself out in the end. So just think bigger picture and think for the long haul about how you really want to be investing in your future.
Yeah, Becky, again, another great topic that Michelle brings up, mortgage rates, right? We need to talk about rates and where they're headed. COVID and rates, inflation and rates, home buying prices and rates. Rates are going up, values are going up, rates, lack of inventory. Everybody's worried about rates. I think that's misguided. What are you worried about rates for? What you need to be worried about are two things. Number one, what are you paying all that rent for? Like Michelle said, Becky, why are you paying rent? And number two, if you have high credit card debt, what are you worried about rates for? Because you can get an under 4% rate, 3.5% right the second or under, and you're paying 18% on your credit cards, Becky Alley. Why are people, that's in the whole rate discussion. If you really sit down and do the math with people talking about why you paying $1,500 a month rent when you could pay less than that probably and buy a new house, and why are you paying 18% on your credit cards when you can pay 3.5% and wipe that credit card debt out? So this whole rate thing is a little misguided to me, Becky Alley.
I agree. And before I get into that, I did misspeak. So the 2021 base loan amount for conventional was $248,250. So what we were saying is that's a $230,000 maximum loan increase over the last 6 years. Okay. So if you think about that, that is insane. And that's a beautiful thing to show about the economy, right? But things are not going backwards in our lifetime. They're going to continue to go up, and that's just how it is. And whether the rates are 3.125 or 3.5, it doesn't equate to make sense to negate that over an 18% credit card interest rate, like what Harry was saying. People will not bat an eyelash at paying some in the teens for interest on credit cards, but they will lose their mind and decide to hold flat over an eighth of an interest rate. And I will never understand that for all of my life, because it's literally $10 to your payment. So if it made sense at 3.125, it's still going to make sense at 3.375 if you're saving tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. The problem is that COVID, there was a lot of heartache from that. There was a lot of strain on people with their employment and things like that. So unfortunately, they did have to rely on some of their credit card debts, revolving debt, to kind of get through those problems. And we're seeing that, right now, some individuals are taking advantage of the equity in their home because it has increased, to save that money. I'm literally just dealing with someone, today, that we're going to close on their transaction. They're saving $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month, literally one payment done, on top of the fact that they're getting themselves out of a land contract and it's now going to be in their name. There's multiple things. There's a million different scenarios that you could benefit from. But the problem is that it starts with that conversation. And a lot of times people will not start the conversation. They will hem and haw and assume that they can't do something and talk themselves out of it, instead of reaching out to a professional like Michelle, who can get them in contact with someone that's going to help them, or call us or call whomever you're going to use. It all starts with a conversation, and you don't know what you don't know. And we're here to help you. And chances are you can still take advantage of these rates before they do go up even higher, because that is what the projections are saying.
Yeah, Harvey, in a purchase market, which we're in right now, I mean, it is absolutely a seller's market. There are a plethora of buyers out there, and bringing it into the rate conversation. I know you do a lot of refis too, but when people are looking for a house, and I'm going to let this carry over to Michelle too. When people are looking for a house, they don't care. I mean, they're not concerned about the rate. They're concerned about finding a house, right?
Yeah, they're concerned about house and having a pass an inspection, Michelle, right? They finally find the house of their dreams, and then we got the inspection phase. And most of the homes here in Michigan, or some of the homes for first-time home buyers, are older homes typically. Some of the older homes are built like rock, some aren't. And we do want them to do their due diligence. But again, their worries are definitely not on the financial side. They're on finding that house and then making sure it passes the inspection.
Yeah, Michelle, we've already taken the financial burden off of them by getting them pre-approved. So they're not worried about that. But when you go into buying a house, what are you seeing? Listen, we talk about inspections and appraisals all the time, but on the inspection side, are you running into a lot of problems on inspections right now?
Quite honestly, I mean, it's going to be the same no matter what time of year or what the market is for what people are finding on inspections. But what I am finding is that there's a greater willingness for buyers to take on some of those repairs themselves, just because once they find that perfect piece of real estate and that perfect house, because they've been on the hunt for a little while looking for it with the lack of inventory, they're really trying to figure out ways and solutions to not let it go. And, because it is a seller's market, the sellers have a low tolerance for completing repairs right now. It's just, so I would say to some of these buyers, if you find that perfect house, okay, yeah, it might have some issues, but be prepared to get some quotes and, see if you can be a workable solution with the seller. Be prepared to negotiate on some of those repairs. So,
yeah, well, I could tell you this. So working with Becky and Harvey, they're really good, Michelle. Becky's really good at having that conversation with her buyer, getting everything up front, making sure the conversation is going very well, and then moving it on to the next phase.
Yeah.
But also, Becky, we're pretty good at staying in our lane, right? I mean, we want to make sure that the transaction is tied up on the financial end, and then let Michelle take care of what she takes care of.
Yeah, I mean, you can be a jack of all trades or a jack of nothing, right? So, I mean, everyone has their fortes, right? And obviously the finance side, we're here to help facilitate that. But I do think that sometimes when you have a really good relationship with lenders and real estate agents, that it's okay to bleed over, meaning that if there is a situation, you should be able to have that conversation where maybe, like, hey, I'm having a hard time reaching out to this client, let's kind of tag team them or things like that so they don't delay. So it is nice to work with professionals that understand that it's not us versus them, right? Or and vice versa. Everyone's trying to work towards the common goal. But yes, when it comes to the financing, I did want to ask you though, so you're talking about inspections and the sellers, like being unwilling to kind of, take on the repairs that they're fully aware of that their house is going to have, right? So are you seeing where people are no longer, the buyers, I should say, to people, they're not so much coming in these tens of thousands of dollars over asking now, they're getting a little bit more smart about their offers? Are they just saying, okay, I'm going to come in purchase price, but I'm going to cover those inspection costs or repairs or things like that? Is that kind of where the market's shifting, or are you still seeing these over asking like in exorbitant sums?
I'm seeing a bit of both.
Okay.
It really depends on the property, about how they're handling things. But people are, coming in usually full price at a minimum. And if they're coming in full price and they know for sure going into it that the house needs repair, then okay, fine. They're a little bit more willing to absorb that expense. Sellers less likely to contribute towards it. So just understand coming into it, you might be walking into something that doesn't have a lot of margin for negotiation because the seller is in a position where they could get another offer of someone who will accept that or not and take it on. Another thing that, I wanted to bring to light here is just right now, I'm talking December 1st, right? That we're in the holiday season. It's upon us here now, right? This is the time. Weird stuff is sort of happening where I had a property on the market for unheard of 10 days. And then on the 10th day, we got 3 offers. So I know a lot of people are not inclined during the holiday season to get out there and go shopping for real estate. But if you can carve out some time in your schedule, I promise you, my client that I was working with would have been a bit more negotiable on day 7. There were no offers on the table than they were when they had 3 offers come in on day 10 of the market. So we're in this, hey, buyers, if you're looking to have a little bit of margin at all, you have some sticky situations where maybe you need a small concession to make the numbers work for you. Right now is the time. And you should really also consider looking at properties that have been on the market for longer than a week. Because properties that have been on the market longer in the week, you might find a little bit more room to deal with an inspection issue or to have that conversation. But if you're coming in day 1 on the market, guess what? There's no room for you.
Yeah, it's such a wild time right now, Michelle. It's such a wild time when you say been on the market for a week or 10 days and people are getting anxious. But let me remind everybody, this is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 2289. And with that, Michelle, it goes like this for us here. 7 to 10 days on the market, a little unrealistic when people are getting antsy about that. But it's crazy times. I mean, I can't think of another time in the market where we would say 7 to 10 days and people are getting anxious. I always believe the time is now to do whatever you're going to do. You can't just sit there and lament over things, and especially in the real estate market. And Michelle, I'm going to let you have the last word. I'm going to go to our panel because we're coming up on the bottom of the hour. And you know what? 30 minutes for a podcast, Harvey likes to do them in 10 minutes. But nothing ever good can happen in only 10 minutes. It's like trying to do a 10-minute workout, right? You see these advertisements on the internet and on cable. Hey, get in shape in 10 minutes. No, you can't get in shape in 10 minutes. It doesn't work that way. So you can't cut an informative podcast educationally, experience-wise, all the experience that you guys could share in 10 minutes. But anyways, we'll give you the last word right now. I'll go to the panel, and then we'll go ahead and remind everybody that Michelle Sayward is going to be on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show with Harvey Freed, Becky Alley, myself, this Saturday morning on 97.1 from 9 to 10. Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm excited about this opportunity, and you're 100% right, Harry. Do not second guess your actions in real estate. If you feel this is the right time for you, just be bold and host the conversation. Get out of your own head and just vet it out with a professional, like Becky was saying. Don't make assumptions about what the market's doing. Don't make assumptions about what your own finances look like. Consult with a professional real estate agent like myself, Michelle Sayward, eXp Realty, or Becky Alley at Capital Mortgage Funding. Give you guys a call. Give Capital Mortgage a call, and vet out the conversation. It's worthwhile to see if this is something in the plans for you for the new year. 2022 is going to be a strong year in real estate. If I look at my numbers, I am hard pressed in any county in the state of Michigan to find a county where there were less home sales happening in 2021 than there were in 2020. So you know what's going to happen in 2022. Numbers don't lie. So take action, make the phone call, and we are looking forward to hearing from you.
Becky Alley.
Yay. Yes, I'm super pumped. Yeah, we could talk with Michelle for hours. That's why she's doing two different times with us, because literally we can just chat with her forever. And so to piggyback on that, I will say there is one thing that you should hesitate on. So you make the decision, home ownership is going to be your goal for the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, or anywhere in 2022. You make the decision, you made the call, you're with the right people. One thing that you do not want to do, especially right now during the holiday season, is open up that new debt if you are in the middle of a transaction. You don't need to buy the furniture for the house you do not own just yet if you are in the middle of a transaction. We have those conversations all the time with our clients. Mine actually make a phone call to me and say, hey, I have to turn in my lease. Is this okay? And I let them know. But the point is that they know that we're a team and we're here to help make it uncomplicate a complicated situation, or make sure it doesn't become complicated. So be transparent, have the conversation always. You can reach us on our cells, but if you think that you need to buy the furniture, just make sure you're reaching out to your financial advisor, your loan officer, only if you're in the middle of a transaction, to make sure you're not going to cause any delays that you maybe weren't aware that you might cause. So there's that.
Excellent recap. Harvey Freed, Mr. Harvey Freed, the host with the most hardcore mortgage real estate business show. Harvey.
Real quick, Harry, and thank you. Timing, I like what Michelle said. Timing is everything. And I think now's that little window, as Michelle's talking about. Some people are not buyers right now. Become a buyer now and look at buying that house in December, January, February, because it will be extremely competitive come 2022. And then, Michelle, you remind me so often that I love having these experienced real estate agents on our podcast, on our radio show. You guys, the experienced real estate agents, bring something to the table that the new guys can't. Now, no knock on the new guys, because if you're out there working hard, I hope you have a teammate like a Michelle Sayward, or find one quickly, because 2022 is going to be that much more competitive, looking for that house and making that deal. And good luck to all the buyers out there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's a great recap, everybody. So lessons learned for today. In my opinion, number one, we learned that the loan rates have gone up, and we learned that mortgage interest rates are probably going to go up as well. And what are we waiting for? We've said it a million times. Michelle reiterated it. What are you waiting for? You got to do what you got to do. There are opportunities, as Michelle pointed out, right now. Also, rates, COVID rates, inflation rates. Come on, forget about the rate conversation. Get your team together. Go out looking for that house. But before you do, you got to be financially approved. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE can do that for you, especially Becky Alley, Harvey Freed, and our entire team. Lack of inventory. Listen, everybody, the math does not lie. Michelle's here to tell you. We're here to tell you. Lots of buyers, less inventory, prices going up. What are you waiting for? Your rent's going up too, by the way. Also, we want to welcome Michelle back to the show, 97.1 FM on Saturday morning with, we said it first, we'll say it again, Becky and Harvey. I'll be there. Maybe a couple other special guests too. You never know who's going to show up on that show. It is the #1 mortgage and real estate show in Southeastern Michigan, heard every Saturday morning, 97.1 FM. Also, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We're in the holiday season, and I want to wish everybody a safe and holiday season. We'll say that 1,000 times between now and the end of the year. And we also have a special person getting married at the end of the year too, Becky Alley. So we love that. This is Becky Alley's month, everybody. So listen, for Michelle Sayward, Becky Alley, Harvey Freed, and our producer-director, Roberta Beauchene in the booth. He's the man behind the curtain. This is Harry Glantz for the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, December 1st, 2021. Take it easy, everybody.